If you thought studying in the United States was costly, well, think again. Because these universities are going to offer you up to 100% of tuition waivers so that you can actually study in the United States for free. Yes, I'm not really kidding over here. And before we actually begin, I'm gonna ask you to hit the subscribe button so that you can have access to such information every single week. Now, going on to the video, let's actually talk about those 5 top universities which are going to be offering you up to 100% of scholarships. By the way, this is not limited to PhD students. If you guys are watching, you already know that most universities will already cover up to 100% of your tuition and even some part of your living expenses a lot of times in return for, of course, graduate assistantships, research assistantships, and teaching assistantships, right? But that's not usually the case with undergrad or master students, especially when they start, they have to look for on-campus jobs to sustain themselves. Well, if you have a tuition waiver in that case, that's a huge helping hand for you. And I'm sure you would agree because, tuition in the United States is actually very, very costly. So let's actually talk about those universities. The first one we're going to be talking about is actually not a university at all. Sorry about that, I lied, but this is actually good for you. The reason is that I'm going to talk about a particular state, the state of Texas. Now, why is the state of Texas special? Well, the scheme that they have over there is the most elaborate, the most amazing scheme for international students or out-of-state students. To explain the scheme, I'm taking you to the TAMU website. This is the Texas A&M University, right? It's a very popular university in Texas. It's a private university. Note that it's not even a government-based university. It's not a public university. Now, the whole reason over here that I'm showing you over here, this page, is that effective fall 2017 undergraduate students must be awarded and maintain comparative scholarships of at least $4,000 per academic year. That means that if you're an undergrad student and you get a $4,000 scholarship from TAMU during your admission, well, what that means is the state of Texas has allowed you to pay in-state tuition. Let me actually explain what that means. All right. When you go to a school in the United States, there are 2 types of students. One is students who are going to be attending Texas-based universities who are already from Texas. Now, these students are already from Texas. That means the tuition is lower from them. These students are called in-state students. The students who are from out of state, that is, let's say someone from Minnesota, someone from New York, right? They're coming to Texas. Or someone from India, China coming to Texas. All of them are actually out of state students. The tuition applies very differently for these students and is almost double the amount. Don't believe me? Let me actually show you the tuition for one of the most popular universities over here. It's the #1 university in Texas. That's the University of Texas at Austin. All right. It's a public university, as you can see, but still the tuition is very much in the same range like I talked about. So if you're a resident who is living on campus or off campus, well, in that case, you're paying somewhere around $10,000 of tuition. But if you are a non-resident, you're paying somewhere around $20,000 of tuition. It's almost double, right? As you can see. Give or take 10%, but it's almost double. Now, the whole point of this is if you qualify for this waiver, by the way, undergraduates, it's $4,000. For graduates, it's only $1,000. If you are a master's student, if you're a PhD student, only $1,000 of scholarship is needed in that case. If you can attain that $1,000 of scholarship from your school, from your institution where you applied to, well, in that case, this tuition is not applicable to you. No, this one is applicable to you in that case. So that means you are paying significantly lower tuition just by being at a university in the state of Texas. And I think all of Texas universities are pretty great to offer this. So as you can understand, this is valid for almost all the Texas universities. Tuition is almost half the amount that you would have paid otherwise, and on top of that, both undergraduates and graduate students are eligible for the scheme. If you would like to know the universities in Texas that you can go for, the only reputable universities that we recommend that you apply to, you can actually go on to YMGrad.com. Right over here, again, very important, remember the link, right over here, go on to the US universities. All right, select the USA, and then on this page, all you have to do is click on US and then scroll down to Texas. Just select Texas over here. All right, I'm just gonna do that right over here. There it is. I'll select Texas, and now you'll see all the universities in the United States that are from the state of Texas. All right, you can actually look at all of these universities. You can look at their statistics. You can look at your chances of getting in. But again, these are all reputable universities. We do not add any universities that are not reputable enough. So you can see there's a plethora of universities. And just in case you're not really sure about which universities would offer your program, you can actually search for your program. Let's say that you want to go for business, right? And you can search for business, right? It could be an MBA degree, whatever you're going for. And then you can again go ahead and select United States over here. It'll open up the list of states, and then again go ahead and select Texas. That means now you're looking at universities which offer business programs in the state of Texas. How amazing is that, right? So there's a lot of universities like that, a lot of programs, and you can really drill down and do all of your searching right over here on one website itself. By the way, this is also available on iOS and Android, so just in case you'd like to do that on your phone, the links are going to be in the description. For now, we're going to be moving on to the second university that you may be interested in. Very important over here, guys. Now, these are actually universities. They are not states or some schemes that I'm going to be bringing to you. These are specific universities. Now over here, we're going to be talking about the University of New Haven. Now, this university, again, a pretty great university. If you want to know more about this, you can basically just search over here, New Haven. And I think right over here, here it is. You can actually see the statistics, etc., etc., right? And then you can actually go on to these links, which I'm going to be including in the description, that show that, okay, this is the graduate link and this is the undergraduate link. So this is basically offered for both graduates and undergraduates. No matter who you are, we've kept all of that in mind. The links are again in the description. And the thing that I like about these scholarships is that they are merit-based. What that means is based on your grades, based on your academic performance, you get these scholarships. It's not based on your race. It's not based on your location, your nationality. All of these things don't come in. For instance, a lot of FAFSA scholarships in the United States are only valid for US citizens or residents. In case you are an international student, well, there's very limited options available, and this is one of the greatest options because merit-based scholarships completely disregard your race, your location, your nationality. On top of that, the thing that I love about these is that there is automatic consideration. That means you don't need to apply for these. You just have to apply to the school and you will be given automatic consideration for these scholarships. Now, as you can see on this page, there are definitely multiple scholarships available. You want to research which one is the best option for you out there. All right, you can take a look at these. And of course, for undergraduates also, there is a separate page available which will have more additional details on undergraduate scholarships. So I highly recommend checking these out once. Based on my research, I can tell you that these scholarships in itself can cover up to 75% of your tuition amount, which is a crazy huge amount. If you can get a 75% tuition waiver, that would basically make your life very, very easy. You're just paying 25% of the actual price. On top of that, you are also paid hourly wages, but this is only applicable if you are going for this one, Provost Scholarship, and you're a graduate student, all right? You can take a look at these schemes types of Provost assistantships, and you will see that not only will they cover your tuition up to 75%, they will also be paying you an hourly wage, which means that even those 25% of the tuition you can actually earn back. Now, moving on to the third university over here, that is the University of Michigan at Dearborn. It's not the Ann Arbor campus, it's the Dearborn campus, second most popular you can say. But the only caveat over here is that all of these scholarships are only offered to graduate students. This is not for undergraduate students. By the way, undergraduates, you have a lot of scholarships options. I can make a separate video for you if you comment down below. But really, for graduate students, this is the university that I found that is very, very generous. Now, you can see that they actually have a lot of scholarships over here, a lot of tuition waivers, but you know, they can also be segregated by which college you're interested in. For instance, if you're interested in College of Engineering and Computer Science, you can click on that link and it'll take you to this page, which will actually show you all of these scholarships that you are eligible for. For instance, the CECS Non-Resident Graduate Scholarship basically requires that you should be a non-resident. It requires that you should be a non-resident, that you should be an international basically, right? And you should be studying in the College of Engineering, Computer Science, right? And you should be taking 500 plus level courses, which of course graduate students already take 500 level plus courses. So you don't need to worry about that. Award amount is 80% of the difference between residential and non-residential graduate tuition fee. What this essentially means is that they will waive up to 40% of your tuition amount. This is just a technical way of writing it. Now I have calculated this and I can tell you this is up to 40% of your tuition amount only. Now, when you do your research on this page, you will find that no separate application is needed. That means you are given automatic consideration as soon as you apply to the University of Michigan Dearborn. But there is a caveat over here. If you are applying to the College of Business, there is a separate application that you will have to submit to be considered for these scholarships. So please keep all of that in mind. The fourth university on our list is actually in a very good location. It's in New York, of course. It is the New York Institute of Technology, or NY Tech, whatever you'd like to call it. The thing that I love about these scholarships again is that they are completely merit based. Both undergrads and graduate students are eligible for this scholarship, so you do not need to worry about that bit. On top of that, no separate application needed. You don't need to worry about applying separately. And one important caveat over here, don't think that they will award you scholarships once you're on campus. All of these scholarships are given before admission only. So basically, when you are in your country only, from there, when you apply, you get the admissions decision. That's the point where you should be getting this scholarship. Okay, if you don't get a scholarship once you actually get your admission at that point of time, well, in that case, don't think that you will just go to campus and get the scholarship at that point of time. This is all already given out at the time of admission. So if you did not get it, well, it most probably means that other students have already exhausted the scholarship. Again, the best part, you do not need to even submit test scores such as the SAT, etc., whichever test you're taking, to be eligible for these scholarships. The final and the fifth university in our list for today is the University of Memphis. Alright, again, both undergrad and graduate students are eligible for these scholarships. As you can see over here, there are some eligibility requirements. You can go ahead, check them out for yourself. The links will be in the description. In general, they're offering up to 50% of tuition waivers. That is still a pretty huge amount. The eligibility criteria is actually not that high. Most students who are watching this video will already be eligible. On top of that, the really amazing scheme is that if you maintain your GPA level over 3.0 out of 4, if your GPA is over 3 out of 4 in the upcoming semesters at the University of Memphis, this scholarship will be continued. That means every semester is 50% off for you guys. Isn't that pretty great? So these are the top 5 universities in my list for offering a lot of scholarships. Notice that I did not talk about Harvard, Stanford, because I know all the people are talking about those universities, and most of you guys who are applying, well, 90% do not even apply over there, and even when they do, a lot of times they end up getting rejected because the system is a little bit biased over there. But apart from that, if you are genuinely wishing to go to the US and study for a cheaper tuition with a lot of scholarship, well, these are the universities for you. Circling back to YMGrad.com or the YMGrad phone app, you actually have a section for scholarships that you should not miss out. There's over 1,500 such scholarships out there for already studying students or students who are currently applying. You should definitely check these out because I am certain that they will be of help to you. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below if you like this video.